Welcome to Tuesday Yoga. Let's settle into a comfortable seat. I forgot to get my pillow. Hang on. And as you get comfortable, come into your breath. Now remember, if sitting isn't comfortable, you can lie down or you can stand up. You're not required to sit. And tune into your breath. Let yourself settle into your seat this morning. Feel into your body as it is in this moment. Notice what your attention is drawn to. And invite awareness of a deepening breath into the belly, the side waist, and the low back. I'm wanting to offer another workshop on the lymph system, so I've been researching it some more. And I don't know if you knew this, but the lymph system has one-way valves. So as you move and the muscles constrict and the vessels get constricted and the lymph is pushed upward, let's say, from your legs, it gets pushed upward and then it gets to stay where it was pushed to because of these one-way valves. And then we stretch or we twist and we move again. The tissue moves, the vessels move, the fluid moves, and then it gets to not fall back down again because of those one-way valves. When I first started yoga, people used to say when you went into twists, you were wringing out your organs, like wringing out a washcloth. And that's not quite true. The organs do get moved a little bit when we twist, but they're not getting wrung out necessarily. More what's happening is as you twist, your tissue gets moved, your fascia gets moved, your muscles may activate, and the lymph vessels inside of you then get to kind of pulse with the motion of the tissue, and that pulsing helps cleanse our body. It moves the lymph. But another way the lymph moves is through the breath. And the diaphragm actually helps move the lymph up towards the main lymph duct. So feel for your diaphragm descending and rising. And feel into your own ability through the breath to cleanse the body. We're also breathing in energy, and we're breathing out energy. And we can decide which energy we're breathing out. If we're feeling angry or frustrated or upset, we can clear the mind with the breath. So through our breathing practice, we are cleansing body and mind. We are rippling the tissue of the body to keep it hydrated. And we are taking care of ourselves. So today, I'm inviting us into a practice of sāuca, purity. A practice where through the breath we cleanse body and mind. Sāuca is mentioned first in the Yoga Sutras, Sutras 2.4 and 2.41 to be specific. And in these sutras, both the body and the mind are referred to. So think what it means to you to cleanse the body. Is it to drink water and eat healthy food? Does coming into yoga practice help move the digestive system, keep everything functioning cleanly? And through the practice, do we also have internal sāuca, antar sāuca, which helps us clear the mind, the heart mind, helps us come into concentration and one-pointed awareness, brings us into a more meditative state. So today in the practice, we'll practice Bahaya Sāuca, external sāuca of the body. This sāuca also refers to the cleanliness of our space. And we'll practice internal sāuca, antar sāuca, a cleansing of the mind, clearing agitation, cultivating awareness. Let's inhale our hands to our hearts. May we be present in this practice. And today, may we practice awareness of sāuca. Namaste. Okay, let's come to standing. Yep, looks like Izzy's on my pillow. Let's begin with our rocking water back and forth. And let's just get everything moving. For me, part of this feeling of cleansing, of creating purity in the body, is getting rid of the places where I feel stuck through creating fluid movement. It's like moving the stickiness out of the fascial layers. And when we become water, we invite fluidity. And from back and forth, we can take it to rolling one shoulder and then the other. Fluid breath. Deep into the abdomen, keeping the diaphragm moving. And perhaps the elbow rises, perhaps it doesn't. We find a comfortable place for the head of the humerus. We may play with different angles, finding different tissue where we can release the stickiness and create a kind of purity in the feeling of the movement. And then perhaps we open the arm and stretch across the room, feeling how the fascial web stretches through the body. And maybe we backstroke and maybe we don't. And we honor our own body, which to me is a kind of purity of the practice. It's a practicing of satya, truthfulness, ahimsa, nonviolence, as we practice the niyama sāuca. And we float up to one side and across to the other, and we invite ourselves maybe even up onto the ball of the foot, knowing that when we lift like this, the calf activates and that presses the lymph up the legs. And the little one-way valves stop it from flowing back down. And this is one way we release fluid from the tissues of our bodies. And let's let the feet land and the arms circle skyward and earthward. Find the right rotational movement for you, whether it's a full stretch or just a movement from the elbows or movement of hands up towards the top of the head, honoring your body. And we feel into how these yamas and niyamas are woven together inside of our practice. And we allow the hands to come towards the floor, and we inhale up the other way and down. And we acknowledge the tight places. Oh, I see you, I feel you, especially after being in the car. Fluid breath. And let the hands come down and begin to gently swing around the torso. And really try to let the bones go so they can traction away from the shoulder girdle. And feel for space inside the joints. The movement at the joints also helps us move the lymph. And we continue our deep breath as we begin to hydrate the tissue around the spine. And we only twist as far as is right in our body. And then we bring the hands back to center, palms up. We inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, roll the body over. And we know that in our practice, we all need to open the tissue before we go into any huge stretch or challenging pose. This allows us to be more elastic. Fluid breath, less likely to pinch joints together. Continue flowing. Feel for any of those tight places, and maybe you pause for a moment. For me, it's in the cat curl. I let my tail go and bounce a little bit. Then we come back up and inhale. Lift the heart and bring the arms up into our cactus position. Toes turn out, knees bend, and we cat curl the spine, pinkies together. And we inhale, lift the heart. And we get some flexion and extension of the spine. Fluid breath. Izzy's not sure where she wants to be. Fluid breath. And we let the hands create fists as they come into the hissing cat position, and we let the fingers expand outward. And we create spanda, pulsations of energy in the body. And we open the arms and we reach and stretch through each finger and draw the elbows down, and maybe we even pulse in the legs. And we get motion going, stretching and warming up the tissue as we begin to work the big muscle groups in the legs. This time when we stretch up, let the arms open and turn the left foot out, take the right heel back and settle into your warrior two. Turn the palms up and inhale and exhale, and keep the breath flowing deeply into the body. Breath and movement cleansing us, purifying the physical form. And this time we bring the left hand down, right arm maybe alongside the ear, maybe right hands on the hip. And we bow the heart towards earth and lift the heart towards the heavens. And perhaps we come to our forearm. And we feel how, as we move into the practice, we're pulsing different tissue, inviting that tissue to move, to stretch, and to move the fluids inside. Rooting into the feet, we float up, palm lifting, and we rest into our dancing warrior. And we come back to moving the breath. And as we move the breath, we feel into the mind. And if it's cluttered or agitated, we invite the breath to begin carrying out what isn't needed right now. And we exhale, straightening the front leg. We cartwheel into our high triangle, shoulder blades strong on the back. And from the pelvis, we root down into the earth. And from the pelvis, we elongate the spine through the crown, shoulder blades hugging on the back of the heart. And we feel the three-dimensional breath. And we imagine energy pulsing out through each limb, through the crown, like we're a shining star in the sky, or really a pulsing planet. Fluid breath. And we float up and we reach the hands skyward. Dancing triangle. And we release, turning the left foot in and the right foot out. We come into star pose and settle into warrior two, palms up. We inhale and exhale, and we draw in some sun breath, fluid breath. And we know that as we cleanse ourselves in this practice and release the agitation in our own minds and hearts, it affects the collective conscious. And we bring right hand to the femur, left arm alongside the ear, and we exhale, bowing to earth, and inhale, lifting the heart towards the heavens. And we continue to move with the breath. And we may come to our forearm. And we ground from the pelvis into our roots as we expand the spine and twist the tissue. And next time we exhale, float up, lifting the palm into our dancing warrior. And we rest into the breath. And we bring the breath deep into the heart mind. And we imagine the breath moving through the heart mind like clear water. And we exhale, straightening the front leg. We come into our high triangle pose. From the pelvis, we pulse out organic energy in every direction. Then we hug back into our center and pulse back out. As we do this, the legs may press down into the feet as if they were going to rip the mat in half. And then we pulse back in and feet hug towards each other. And we feel for how this pulsation can actually move the tissue a little bit. And we exhale, dancing triangle. We stretch the arms skyward and we breathe into the stretching tissue. And exhale, we release the front hand, turn in the right foot and step together, mountain pose. A fluid, three-dimensional breath. Settling into the whole circumference of our heels, we invite the hot air balloon to pick us up from center palate. And we step, left foot forward, right foot back, rock step. And as we come into rock step, we make sure heels, are aligned with our sit bones, or even outer edges of our feet aligned with the outer hips. And we inhale, reaching the arms skyward. We exhale, hands to the heart. We inhale, lengthen through the crown. And exhale, turn towards the right leg, opening the easy way, looking back behind you, bringing the right arm back to clap the left hand, and then floating it back again. And we just move with the breath, exhaling forward and inhaling back. And feel which tissue is moving. And we bring the right hand forward and bring left hand back. May not go quite as far. We're twisting towards the front leg now. We make sure we're not collapsing into the back foot's inner arch to get around. We're not collapsing the inner knee. We're staying strong and rooted in our legs, letting the twist come more in the upper body, making sure we're integrating the head of the arm bone back, not flinging the wrist behind it. And bringing the hands forward, we take the right arm back, twisting around. The right arm comes forward and the left arm moves back. And we follow more of the full circumference of the twist, not quite. Fluid breath, not forcing it. Coming forward, bend into the front knee. Inhale, float the arms up, warrior one. Exhale, hands through the heart, bowing, humble warrior. Inhale, arms lift again. Exhale, let's bring hands through the heart. Let them open behind us like wings, palms down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow. And feel how as you move through the joints of the hips, bowing and standing, that front leg, groin area where there are a lot of lymph nodes gets pulsed. Floating back up, pause in your warrior one and come back to your diaphragmatic breath. Drawing the breath deep into the torso, feel for the movement of the diaphragm. And exhale, release your wings, step together, and pause for a moment, feeling your body side to side. Noticing the changes that occur. Let's step right foot forward, left foot back. And once you get settled into your stance from your rock step, we inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, float them directly out in front of us. And inhale, left arm opens behind us and claps the front hand. And we inhale back and exhale forward. Really moving the tissue with breath and movement. Trying to reach each little tissue in the body today. Coming back to center, take the right arm back on the exhale, right arm forward on the inhale. Right arm back on the inhale, forward on the exhale. That way we stretch internally on the inhale as we twist. And next time your hand comes forward, let the left hand go back and come forward. And then the right hand go back and come forward. And coming forward, release your hands. Lift the arms, bending into the front knee. Take your warrior one. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands to the heart. Bow forward, humble warrior. Inhale, lift your wings, hands overhead. Exhale, bowing forward. And inhaling, rising up. We pulse the breath. We pulse the body. We pulse the lymph in the right leg groin. And next time you float up, pause in your warrior one. Let your arms settle. Really feel comfortable opening your arms, palms up into a wider funnel so the shoulders can integrate, so the collar can be open and the neck can lift. And take some deep breaths into the body, into the heart, mind. And release your arms. Step the feet together. Pause again in mountain pose. And let the hands shake and the knees bounce. Let the wrists release. Shake up to the elbows and up to the shoulders. And let go of tension that may restrict the fascial tissue. Maybe you shake a little bit in a twist. Maybe you lift one leg and shake in the other. And we invite the body to release hypertonic muscles so we're more comfortable coming into our twists and standing poses. Okay, let's reach for the chair. Bring the chair into the front of your mat. I'm going to come a little closer to you so you can see me. We're going to fold forward, hands onto the chair, but we'll start, it's kind of a little bit of a sun salutation. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart, Utkatasana, fierce pose. Deep breath. Deep into the low back. Let the tailbone root towards earth. Lift the base of the skull. Press into the four corners of the feet. Place your hands on the chair and inhale your cow. And exhale your hissing cat. And take a few rounds. And coming back into neutral spine, float one leg up behind you. Let's float the right leg up behind you. Lengthen from the crown through the four corners of the right foot. Release the left hand. Float the left wing up onto your back. Some of us will lift to the left fingertips. Fluid breath. Some will float. The right fingertips, sorry. Some will float the shoulder blades onto our backs. Some will bring the arms alongside the ear, warrior three. Whatever version you're in is fine. Make sure it's the right one for you. Continue your three-dimensional breath. And release the hands and the standing leg. And inhale your cow. And exhale, hissing cat. A few more rounds. And then float the next leg up behind you. Activate your core. Release the opposite hand and float that shoulder blade up, arm like a wing. Lift to the fingertips of the hand on the chair if you like. Float the arm up if that feels good to you, and reach the arms long beside the ears. Fluid breath. Pulsation of the breath. Release the collar. Hands to the chair. Lifted leg comes down. Sit back, hands to the heart. Utkatasana. Inhale, length to the spine. And keeping the knees really grounded over the second and third metatarsals. Gently twist one direction. Come back to center. And gently twist the other. We're still waking up in the body. So let yourself move with ease, with grace. And come back to center. Release your arms. Inhale, reach for the sky. Interlace your fingers, thumbs, lift the base of the skull, rest your head back. Rooting the pubic bone and the tailbone, lengthen into the four corners of the feet. Lift your toes, lift your arches. Really ground with solid strength into the legs. Hug in at the hips And extend out of the spine. Some of you will release the arms and unfurl them, lifting the heart skyward, whatever position you're in. We breathe. What tissue is moving with the breath? And exhale, hands release to the heart, mountain pose. Okay, let's come to seated on the chair. Please bring your blocks in front of you. We won't use them quite yet. And bring your legs around to the left. Inhale, hands to the heart. Exhale, feel your seat. Inhale, lift through the crown. Exhale, begin to twist towards the right. The back of the left hand crosses the right leg and the right arm opens like a wing behind you. Now, if you have shoulder issues, it's fine for the arm to be down low. More important to open across the collarbones, try to stretch that pec minor, but not by throwing the thumb back and compromising the shoulder. Make sure you can still feel into your sit bones and lengthen slightly up through the crown. Now come back to the pulsing breath. Imagine the breath ripples out from center spine like the ripples once you've thrown a stone into a clear pond. Let the ripples move all the way out past your ribs, all the way out into the low back. And now invite the breath into your heart mind as well. Let it stretch and empty you there. And exhale, hands to the heart. We take the feet around to the right. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, slowly twist. Now you can begin from the base of the spine like you're walking up a spiral stair, or you can begin from the eyes turning. What you want to feel for is which direction I go feels like I really get to open the full length of the spine. I get to invite the tissue to hydrate and to move on the breath. And then play with where is my neck, my shoulders? Can I release tension in the shoulders that will allow for more opening? Can the breath pulse my intestines? The lymph passageways travel right alongside the circulatory system, but they have no pump. So our breath and movement pumps the lymph. And we exhale, hands back to the heart. We turn forward, sit bones on the front edge of the chair, opening the legs wide. After twisting, it's always nice to come into forward folds. But first, take your hands out, part way out the femur bones, and inhale, lift your heart. Lift your gaze, keep the back of the neck long. Breathe into the heart center. See if you can invite opening, blossoming, release. And as you open the heart, can it cleanse? Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, bringing your hands down to blocks or a coffee table, whatever you have. Four corners of the feet, really grounded. Lift your toes, lift your arches. Keeping clean lines for the pose. Keep the knees open over the second metatarsals. Some of you will walk the blocks out into a seated, wide-legged forward fold. This is a version of Uttanavista Konasana. Stretching the hands out. Really breathe now into the back body. Breathe into the tissue that connects one vertebrae to the other. See if you can move stagnant energy. Release tension on the exhales. Feel for the belly opening and pulsating with the breath. And draw your blocks back in. And place your right hand on the blocks. Let the left wing open. Left shoulder blade on the back, ground into both feet as the left wing opens, stretching from your wingspan, from fingertip to fingertip. Fluid breath. What tissue is getting moved on the waves of breath now? Are there places where the tissue's adhered in its layers and you're releasing that? Exhale, release the wing. Float the right wing, shoulder blade onto the back ribs. And with the arm integrated, twist the spine to lift the wing. Three-dimensional breath. Can you open between ribs and spine with the breath? Between one rib and the next. One vertebrae and the next. And release your lifted wing and float yourselves up to sitting. And pause, scooting back on the chair, hands on your femur bones to ground you. Three-dimensional breath. Holding on to the right side of the chair, lean left and nod your head. And perhaps sway the whole body. I see you. I feel you, tight places. Look out over the shoulder. Feel how both body and mind can stretch open, can clear, can purify. Come back to center. Feel the body side to side. And know that what we do, what we feel in our myofascial system, in our muscular skeletal system, also impacts the fascial webbing around organs and vessels. Nodding the head, swaying the body. Looking over the right shoulder, nodding yes. And floating back to center. Let's come to standing and take the chair to the left side of the back of the mat for a revolved triangle pose. Let's do it in 2 steps so that we start from the chair, but then we may bring our hand down to a block if that feels right. Some of us may even start from a block on the chair and move the sleeping dog. You're okay. You're okay. Okay. And step the right foot forward, left foot back. Take a rock step. So your right foot is up near your props and your left foot is behind your props. We're going to twist towards the right leg with our left hand landing on the props. We inhale and float the arms up. We come through Parsvottanasana, hands coming to the heart. We bow forward, bringing the left hand to the chair seat and floating the right wing shoulder blade onto the back. Now hug hips in towards midline, root into the four corners of each foot, and float the right wing open. Let yourself come back to the breath now, deep into the belly and low back. Feel into the opening you can create internally. It's not all about the outer muscles. Feel deep into the body. And release your wing down. If you want to come lower now, bring your hand down to the block. Keep lengthening from the pelvis to the crown. If you start having to cat curl the spine, you've gone too low. Right wing opens. Draw the right hip crease back. Breathe into your revolved triangle. Fluid breath. Make sure you're not lifting the lifting hand so high that you're disintegrating your shoulder. Keep the shoulder integrated. That looks really good, Sharon. Fluid breath. So you're twisting towards the front leg. Some of you are in regular triangle. I want you in revolved triangle. There you go. Fluid breath. Taking the collar away from the ears. The head can be looking down. It can be looking out. It can be looking up as long as it isn't straining your neck. Beautiful poses. Ellen, Jory, Karen, Mira, all the way around the room. Harmony, Daniel. I could just keep going. Okay, exhale, release your wing and float yourselves up to a mountain pose. Pause in mountain. Let your head rest back over your heart, over your pelvis, over your heels. Let yourself be in mountain. Breathe in mountain. Each pose gives us a new opportunity to clear tension out of the body, to release agitation from the mind. Okay, let's take the chair to the right side of the mat. Step the left foot forward and the right foot behind your props in your rock step. So we keep our pelvis pretty much oriented down the mat as if we were walking down a trail. We're not in a Virabhadrasana 2 stance. We're in a Virabhadrasana 1 stance. And as we're ready, we inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. We hinge forward from the hips and release the right hand to the chair seat. Floating the left wing up, we integrate the left shoulder blade. Rooting into the feet, we lift the left wing and we spread across our wingspan. And we draw the left hip crease back, and we may need to rearrange the right heel. That's okay. Fluid breath. And even if this pose feels kind of easy because you're used to coming to a lower prop, enjoy the ease. Think of it as taking a bath in a beautiful, just warm, hot spring on a beautiful day. Let it be a cleanse. It doesn't have to be hard. And release the wing. Reach for your block if you want to come lower. Now, really still check in with yourself for sāuca. Am I honestly coming into a pose that's good for my body? Float the left wing up. Draw the left hip crease back. Lengthen the neck. Come back to the fluid breath into each stretching tissue of the body. And notice how as we put ourselves in different orientations in space, we'll be lifting and pressing the tissue differently to release lymph from the lifted hand through the calf of the back leg, through the left hip, Exhale, release the left wing and float up, hands to the heart. Step into your mountain pose. Head over heart, over pelvis, over center of the earth. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. Relax into mountain. Feel for release in the tissue we've been twisting. Okay. Take the chair back to the front of your mat like we did when we were practicing our warrior three pose. And we will come into our revolved half moon pose. Okay. So hands on to the seat of the chair. We will come back into the practice of inhaling our cow and exhaling our hissing cat. Inhaling the cow and exhaling the hissing cat. Follow your own breath. Enjoy the motion. Look for space in the spine. Coming back to neutral. Float one foot up behind you. You will be twisting towards the standing leg. Release the standing leg's hand. Float the standing leg shoulder blade onto your back. Now, check in with this pose first. Remember, the lifted leg hip will probably want to drop as you lift your wing. Try to keep that lifted leg hip lifted so the twist is in your spine. Just open as far as feels comfortable in your body. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. And release the lifted wing. And step down and inhale your cow. And exhale your hissing cat. And inhale your cow. And exhale your hissing cat. Fluid breath. And this time, come to neutral. Float your next leg up behind you. Stretch out through the four corners of the feet. Hug back into the pelvis. Feel yourself radiate from the pelvis out through both legs and through your crown. Release the standing leg arm from the chair. Float that shoulder blade onto your back and lengthen the neck. Take another deep inhale. Create the intention of keeping the lifted leg hip lifted as you open your wing. Fluid breath. And as we get into harder poses, make sure you're still creating a conscious awareness of which tissues working, stretching, opening, cleansing. And release the lifted wing and step down and inhale your cow. And exhale your hissing cat. Take a few more breath cycles. Release your sit bones back and your hands to your heart. Utkatasana. Inhale, lengthening the spine and keeping your knees where they are. Exhale, a gentle twist. Remember, you choose how far to twist. Maybe today you don't want to twist. Maybe you've had enough twisting so far. It's your practice. Keep the breath moving so you're cleansing the body with the breath, cleansing the heart mind. Coming back to center, release your arms, reach for the sky. Interlace the fingers the funny way, thumbs to the base of the skull, lift Elbows wrap forward, rest the head back. Check in that you have a great connection between pelvis and feet. You're not hyperextending the knees or throwing the pelvis forward. Reach the arms long if that's available to you. Reach through the thumb, index, middle, ring, and pinky fingers. Stretch, rooting from the pelvis. Lengthen your side bodies. Breathe deep into the torso. And exhale, hands to the heart. Mountain pose. Fluid, three-dimensional breath in your mountain pose. And let's step our feet wide on the mat. We're going to come into standing Prasarita Padottanasana as a forward fold. And if that doesn't feel available to you, feel free to come back to the seated pose. Bring your blocks or your chair seat forward, or you could have a footstool. Take your feet wide, blocks in front of you, and come back to standing, hands on your pelvic rim. Bring thumbs around back, elbows towards one another, and pressing down with your hands on the pelvic rim, root into both feet. Make sure the toes are turned in just slightly. Rooting the tailbone, lift the heart center. Lengthen your side bodies. Come back to your fluid breath. Feel the heart center rising like a helium balloon inside the body. Feel how that stretches tissue around the heart, creating opening for a clean breeze to blow through the body. Now exhale. Draw your inner thighs back, sit bones wide as you fold forward. Remember, we want to come into a forward fold where the tailbone is higher than the top of the sacrum. Wrap your fingers over the front of your blocks. Make sure your blocks and hands are wider than your shoulders. So now you're in a wide-legged downward dog. Let your hips traction back behind you and breathe deep into the abdomen. Again, feel for which tissue is stretching, opening. Invite a release of stagnant energy. You can stay here in this forward fold or release your right hand from the block and reach it through for your left ankle. Pausing in the stretch. If it feels uncomfortable to have your hands on the blocks and you can bring your hand to the floor, feel free to do that. Again, let this be awareness building. Feel through your body. What is opening? What is different in this pose? If you released your hand through, stretch it back out wide, either to block or floor, and release the other hand under towards your right ankle. Three-dimensional breath. Now, some of you will step your hands back out into your wide-legged downward dog and stay there. Others will release their hands down between the feet and the crown of the head towards the floor. Fluid breath. Prasarita Padottanasana. And rooting down into your feet, bend the knees, hands come to the hips, and we unhinge and step our feet together. Mountain pose. Shoulder blades broad on the back. Fluid breath. Okay, we're warmed up enough today that I'm going to give you two options for the next standing pose. And we're going to come to the floor. So the first option is to have your chair, I guess I'll do it here, have your chair against a wall. Well, it doesn't necessarily need to be for this first round. This pose where we step one foot up onto the chair. If you want to instead, the reason I said to bring it to the wall is you could place your foot at the top of the chair, heel on the chair into your long-legged pose. So you choose whether you want to step foot onto the chair seat. Maybe you want the long-legged pose with your heel on the chair seat or on a yoga block. You want to make sure whatever you choose, you're not hitching the hip up towards your armpit to get higher. You want to practice sāuca, truthfulness, in your practice as you decide. So for me, it's going to be easier, actually, I think, to step just right up onto this bed frame. So that's the room I'm in. So you choose what's right for you, okay? And step one foot up onto the chair, the wall, the bed frame, whatever your choice is. Now, once you get there, let your head rest back over your pelvis, over your heel. Shoulder blades strong on the back. Find your myofascial slings across the back body and down into the standing leg. And inhale, float your arms skyward. Exhale, hands through to the heart center. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist towards the lifted leg. Fluid breath. Relax your shoulder girdle. Breathe into the twist in your abdomen. If you'd like to, release the forward hand to cross the leg like we did in our seated position. And the back arm reaches open like a wing. And now we're working this pose with balance as a part of the pose. Fluid breath. And you may feel your standing foot working a little bit and think of that tissue getting worked and moving fluid. Every part of the body gets to participate. And as you're ready, let the hands come back around to the heart. Soften your knees and step down. Fluid breath. Now let's take it to the other side. I'm going to take a look while you're working. Find your head over your heart, over your heel. Make sure there's no hyperextension in the standing leg. And then as you're ready, inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, hands down through the heart. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, twist towards your lifted leg. Fluid breath. Beautiful, Susie. Open your wings as you're ready. Make sure even the lifted leg is not hyperextending. Beautiful, Vicky. Nice and open across your collar. Everybody, deep breath into the body. Can you relax your face, your eyes, even release into a little smile? Nice, strong poses all the way around the room. Beautiful. And as you're ready, exhale, unwind, and step gently down. Beautiful. Mountain pose. So before we move to the floor, let's do one more forward fold here. Now, if you know that hamstrings are an issue, you can place your hand on a piece of furniture. My mom's room's great for this because I can model different furniture. And bend your knees and come into your half dog and find a really nice tractioning, lengthening to your spine. If you know you can come into Uttanasana, you can bring blocks in beside you or come into your full forward fold. Have your heels under your sit bones. And take an inhale. Find your Tadasana. And then exhale, bend your knees and lay your abdomen right on your femur bones. Release your arms into a cross-armed position for ragdoll. And take a few breaths here with the knees still bent, your belly resting on the femur bones. This pressure of belly against the leg bones can help move contents in the intestines. Puts pressure on the circulatory system and the lymph system. And if you'd like to, then root into your feet and begin to lift the sit bones. Remember, we don't lift away from the femur bones until we've lengthened enough to have the tailbone higher than the top of the sacrum. And then we let ourselves hang, shoulders and head in traction. We root into our feet and we breathe deep into the body. Make sure that you're not gripping the arms back up, the head and neck back up. See if you can relax and release the arm bones and the skull to traction you open. And you may want to reverse the hold of your arms. This may change the pull on the rib cage and spine. Three-dimensional breath. And then release your hands to the floor wherever you are and come down onto hands and knees. On hands and knees, we're going to take the eye of the needle pose, where you bring your left arm under, left shoulder towards the mat, left ear towards the mat. Some of you may stop here. This may be enough of a stretch in the upper back, down towards the pelvis. Some of you will step the right leg back and walk it around towards the left hand. You may even be able to step your big toe into your left hand, your right big toe, and float the right arm skyward. Make sure you're not compressing your cervical spine if you take it this far. Keep the arm bone integrated if you release the right arm back behind you. Three-dimensional breath, inviting tissue to stretch open, to release toxins, to cleanse out bacteria, viruses, cancer cells, dead cells. Exhale. Release the right hand back to the floor. Come back onto hands and knees and inhale a cow. And exhale, hissing cat. A few more breath cycles. And coming into neutral, bring your right arm under, right shoulder towards the floor, right ear towards the floor. Maybe that's enough. Maybe you'll step the left foot back and around towards the right hand and float the left arm skyward. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. And if you open the left wing behind you, make sure you integrate at the shoulder, that you're not straining in the spine. And let the breath massage the tissue. Feel for your diaphragm moving. And as you're ready, unwind. Hands and knees, inhaling your cow and exhaling your hissing cat. And as you're ready, bring yourself down onto the mat. Head onto a pillow if you need one. You may want to put your sweaters on. Depends on what you want and need as we move farther into the practice. Please have a yoga strap. Now you may want to bolster beside your legs as we go into twists on the floor. If you do have a bolster in, you may be able to use yoga blocks. And as you're ready, lay yourselves down on the floor. In constructive rest, holding the yoga strap in your hands. So I like to alternate between twists and symmetrical poses. Mountain pose is a symmetrical pose. Uttanasana, wide-legged forward fold. So here on our backs, we're in constructive rest, which is a symmetrical pose. And I want you to fold your yoga strap in half and place it underneath your sacrum so that both sides of the strap are kind of open around your sacrum so that you create a little wider of a platform. So you have a 2-strap platform instead of a 1-strap platform. Then palms up beside your hips, pillow out actually. Lift your pelvis into a bridge and let your pelvis rest down onto the straps. And then just rock your pelvis side to side. This is going to take some arm strength. If your wrists can't handle it, then you can just come into a supported bridge if you like, or a bridge on a Gurdie ball and just let your pelvis move back and forth. But if you're on the hammock, let your pelvis really rest into the strap. Lift one hip, lifting one hand a little higher, and then swing your hips across to the other side. And let your pelvis just swing back and forth in the strap. Deep 3-dimensional breath into the body. Clearing and cleansing, purifying with each breath. And then release the pelvis to the floor and lift your left foot towards the sky. Bring the strap over the ball of your left foot, big toe to pinky toe, and hold the strap in your left hand. You may want to lengthen your right leg out and just pause here and think, what pose am I in if I were standing on the foot in the strap? You're in Virabhadrasana 3, right? Now open the left leg out towards the pinky toe side, and you're coming into Ardha Chandrasana if you were standing on your left foot. You can put a block or a bolster under your leg if you like, if you don't want to go all the way open. Fluid breath. Think of integrating in towards the pelvis and then radiating out on your exhales. And exhale, left leg back up, switching hands with the strap, left hand into your hip crease, press the left femur bone away. Take the left leg across to the right, left pelvis still on the floor, and pendulum the leg. Looking for opening in the hip tissue. perhaps in the calf, the IT band. And then some of you will want to roll open into a full twist. We did this twisting pose standing earlier. Padangusthasana. Utthita Parvrita Parsvokonasana. No, Asarita. I'm having trouble with my names at the moment. One hand, foot in hand pose. Padangusthasana. Now we're in Utthita Parvrita Padangusthasana. Bring your right hand across to lift the left leg back up. Sorry, I said left leg. The left hand across to lift the left leg back up and come into half happy baby. Fluid breath. Feel how the bent leg and the happy baby leg is constricting your groin. And then feel how when you straighten that leg back towards the sky, you release. Now bring the right foot into the strap, left foot to the floor. And hold the strap in the right hand. Open out your left wing, and if you'd like to, your left foot. Open the right leg out to the side. Fluid breath. I love feeling into these poses on the floor because it really can inform your Ardha Chandrasana. If your foot is lifted away from the floor a distance, you're not going to be able to stack one hip over the other. And that is totally okay. But I just want you to realize there can be constrictions in the body, and we can really discover them when we're lying on the floor. If you usually feel like your shoulder is forward and you're struggling a little with balance, but your shoulders are wide open on the floor, you realize actually once you feel comfortable in the pose, you'll be able to really broaden across your shoulders. Exhale, draw the right leg back to center. Take the right foot across, keeping the right hip on the floor. Press into the right hip crease with your right hand and pendulum the right foot. Feel into the IT band, the outer hamstring, the buttock, wherever you feel the stretch. Could be your calf, the back of your knee. Three-dimensional breath. It's almost like we're cleansing stiffness out of the body, tension out of the body. And maybe you roll into the full twist. Really keep that three-dimensional breath going now. Feel how it moves around your intestines. Moving the lymph in your abdomen. An internal cleanse. And as you're ready, bring your right hand back to the strap, right foot into happy baby. Fluid breath. So again, here we went into asymmetry. So we release the foot, step the feet back into constructive rest. Bring the hammock underneath your sacrum again. And lift the sacrum. And rock the sacrum side to side. It's really important that the straps are open wide because you'll have a lot better hold. Fluid breath. Takes a little practice to get this down, but boy, it feels good when you do, when you can release the pelvis and just gently rock it. Now release the pelvis to the floor. If you want to use a pillow, bring it back in. Hug the knees to the chest. And circle the knees. Take the circles the other way. Hug behind the backs of the knees. Hug them out towards the armpits. Maybe you can reach your hands to the pinky toe side of the foot. Happy baby. Fluid breath. Rocking the pelvis side to side. When we come to the floor, the pressure of the floor can help us move fluid through the tissues. Feel where you're rocking across the floor, massaging the tissue. Maybe you'll wrap your 2-piece fingers around your big toes and open the legs wide into a Supta Upta Vista Konasana. Maybe you'll rock tailbone towards earth, tailbone towards sky, getting a stretch in the adductors. Maybe that's too much in your body, then please don't do it. You can play back and forth between the wide angle pose and happy baby. Let yourself explore and experiment a little bit. Drawing the knees in towards the chest, wrap your hands over the arches of the feet. And release your legs back to the floor. Let the soles of the feet come together and the knees open wide. Supta Baddha Konasana. Keep breathing deep into the belly and see if you can move the fascia in your groins. Gently pumping the lymph with moving tissue. Exhale, bring the knees together, walk the feet wide on the mat. Let the knees rest together. Gentle internal rotation of the femur bones, which may spread the pelvis wide, may allow your sacrum to settle. Here, if it feels okay to you, you can gently tilt tailbone towards earth, tailbone towards sky. Come to neutral and rest a moment with your breath. And then step heels in line with sit bones. Feet parallel at the second metatarsal. Visualize it. And taking your pillow out, inhale, lift into a bridge. Draw the heels isometrically towards the buttocks. Activate the buttocks and the hamstrings. Press down into the four corners of the feet. Deep three-dimensional breath. Feel for the movement of the diaphragm. Maybe even rest your hands on your belly and breathe into your hands. And then soften and rest your pelvis to the floor. Draw your bolster under your knees. Draw a blanket over your body and come into Shavasana. Shavasana is the pose where we get to integrate the practice. It's also the place where we can more fully release into a natural breath, into the natural pulsation of our relaxed body. And to feel how this pulsation still moves the tissue, ripples the lymph that cleanses you. And then for a few moments, bring your consciousness to your mind, your heart mind, and see if you can open the shutters and open the windows. And let the breath blow fresh air into these areas. And let the dust and the clutter blow away. If Shavasana feels really good to you, feel free to stay here. You could stay here for another 20 minutes and really reset your nervous system. If you're ready to move on, gently stretch your body. Notice where the breath goes. Maybe let out a couple sighs, releasing any residual stress or tension. And if you'd like to, raise your arms and legs and shake them out a little bit. Inviting any remaining hypertonic muscles to get the message they can let go. Let you move with a little more freedom. And then as you're ready, roll yourselves up to a comfortable seat. Let's all inhale our hands to our hearts. May this practice today, this practice of sāuca, continue into the rest of our day and the rest of our week, where we notice what we're putting into our bodies, where we notice if we're letting out long, deep exhales and breathing deep into the abdomen. Where we notice if the exhales can carry tension and stress out of heart, mind, and body. May we all be well. Namaste. And thank you for your practice.